Hello all, welcome back. So in this session, we will see what are the components of Jenkins and how we will create a sample Jenkins job to execute the script whatever we are writing. Okay, so before going ahead with the Jenkins components, to understand the Jenkins components, um, we have to know how to install and set up the Jenkins in Mac or Windows operating system. So if you're not sure how to do that, how to download and install few of the preliminary plugins, then please watch my first video on the download and set up Jenkins on Mac and unlock the secret folder. And this is required to set up your Jenkins URL. Okay, so now let's get started. I hope you all downloaded and installed the Jenkins, be it on your Windows or Mac operating system. So after successfully you have created the user for your Jenkins, please log in with the URL localhost and then colon 8080. Okay, and after you do that, then it will be prompted with this particular screen. For the first time, you will not be getting any of the jobs here, that we are going to see how we can create the job. But before to this one, we have to do a preliminary setup for these jobs to run. Okay, so for this we will be going to the manage Jenkins. So how do we go to the manage Jenkins? So here if you see, there is a Jenkins, and if you go scroll down this one, click on this down arrow and then go to the manage Jenkins, and you have to go to the configure global tools configuration. Okay, so here what you need to do, you need to set up few of the environmental variables. So when you are installing Java or Maven, you have to set up few environmental variables, right? Be it on your Windows or Mac operating system. The same thing we need to tell the Jenkins, that where is your Java is installed, where is your Maven is present, so that it can pick up the required commands. So whenever you are executing certain commands, it will be taking the details required files from your local drive. Okay, so for this, first thing is that you need to first redirect the Java installation. So for this, click on this JDK installation, and here you have to give the name as Java, and then the home folder of the Java whatever you have downloaded. If you are using Windows operating system, it will be in C program files and Java, and if you are using Mac operating system, it will be under your library Java virtual machine, and then the version of your Java or the JDK whatever you install, contents slash home, that folder you need to provide here. Fine, and git default it is there because sometimes let's say that if you want to pull the source code from your git as a centralized repository, from there if you are running the scripts in Jenkins, then you need to provide as default and then git. So when you say git, the git command will be already there in your environmental variables, so you need not to provide the path here. Fine. If you are using Gradle instead of Maven, then you can just add Gradle path into this one. The same way, if you are using Ant build, you can use that one. We are going to see about Maven. Mostly in the Java, we are using Maven project, so I will be showing Maven installation. Now, here what you need to do, provide the name like how we have done with the Java as a name, the same thing Maven, and then you have to provide the Maven home folder, that is where exactly you have downloaded your Maven and then you have kept it or extracted into your local drive. That folder you need to provide here. If you are not sure about Maven installation, you can watch one of my Selenium setup with Java for the first time. You can get to know more details about that. Okay, so after your Maven, Java, and Git everything, once you have set the variables, you have to click on the save button. Fine. Now, if you see for this Jenkins, under the manage Jenkins, it is global tools configuration, which we have seen by giving the locations of each tool that we are going to use. The same thing, you have something called as a manage plugins. So Jenkins is not what you call limited to any specific language or any specific task. Jenkins provides a vast number of plugins. So depending on these plugins, you will get the options to kind of perform the actions. So for an instance, if you are from a QA background, then let's say that you have a Maven project and you are using TestNG as a unit testing framework, and you want to generate some kind of TestNG report. So then you can use some TestNG report plugins, so that at the end of the execution you will see a TestNG analyzer report. We will see that in our future sessions. So plugins is one of the important feature in Jenkins. So irrespective of any language, if any specific plugins that you want to use, you can search it from here, from the available plugins. You can search the required plugins, and then you will be listed with all these things. Like if I go to the install, I have few installed plugins are there. Like one of the plugin I can say email extension. It is again to send email reports. Email templates, you will be getting a email extension. The same thing, let's say that you are publishing any of the HTML related reports, then you can use the HTML publisher report. There is one more Maven integration. Let me just yeah. So if any Maven specific projects, if you want to what do you call, create a Maven related project or Maven related Jenkins job, you can use this Maven integration plugin as well. So any specific plugin that you need, you can just search under this plugin manager, and then you can install it. One thing to note is that here, while installing any specific plugins, so let's say, let me go to the an available plugin, and here I will just search some name, and let's say that conditional build step, it is one of the plugin I want to install. So whenever you click this or check this checkbox, make sure that you are doing install without restart. The reason is that if you restart, the problem is that in real time in Jenkins you might be having several number of jobs running at any time, right? So if you install and restart at the same time, now the problem is that any jobs that is running while restarting, then those jobs will be aborted automatically. So always select this option, install without restart. If you are doing download now and install after restart, then you have to wait till end of the day or wherever the whenever the jobs are finishing, then it will restart. So then it won't even install also, so the required plugins will not come into the picture as you install at that moment. So you have to wait till all the jobs are finishing, and then it will install your plugin and then restart it. So depending on the requirement, you can select the option. So better to choose install without restart. And then there is an option also, you can select where you can restart at the end of the if you are sure that any jobs are not running at that moment, you can just click on the restart button. Okay, or else to restart there is one more option also. You have to go to the localhost colon 8080 slash, you can just type restart, and then you can see, are you sure want to restart the Jenkins? If you click on yes, it will restart your Jenkins. Okay, so that is one more way you can restart after installing your plugins at the end of the all the jobs are run. Okay, so this is how you can install the plugins. So now let's see how we can create a new job and then run that. Okay, so what I will do, I will click on this new item, and here you will see few of the options actually, where you can create a freestyle project. If you're not sure what kind of project you are creating, I would suggest to go with freestyle project, and then depending your plugins, then the options will be available inside that project. Fine. Maven integration plugin, because I installed that, I'm getting this Maven project. But initially when you are what do you call, using the Jenkins for the first time, you will not be getting the Maven project. Okay, now the same thing, you have a pipelining. Instead of the UI, you will be executing few of the shell scripts. That is how the pipeline works. And then few of other things which we are not worrying at this moment, because everything we can do with freestyle project, Maven project, and pipelining. At this moment, let's create a freestyle project. So let me give some name, sample freestyle. I'm just giving something, some name, and then click on OK. for this, I need to select an option, freestyle project, and then click on OK. So this is how the Jenkins job or the Jenkins task looks like. Here you will be getting few of the tabs, general tab, where you can enter the description of this particular Jenkins job, and then source code management. If you are going with like let's say that no source code management is there, you are just executing specific task. Like for an instance, let's say that you want to run few of the batch commands, Windows commands or the shell scripts. So the Jenkins is not limited to any specific language, like it's not limited to Java, or C Sharp, or anything. Anything that you can do with the command line, you can perform those tasks with respect to the Jenkins. So it's a really good tool actually to use that or to automate your task. So source code management, if you're not dealing with any of the source code, then you can just select this none. If you are using any Git, so from Git, if you are getting any source code, you have to provide the repository URL, and then you have to give the credentials, and then the branch which you are pulling the code, and then you want to perform certain operation. We will see that in our upcoming sessions, but let's understand the basics of Jenkins. So for this, let me make it as none. Okay. The same thing we have set in more options are there. Like in build triggers, the main important thing is that build periodically. Now this is again, so now one of the benefit of Jenkins is that you need not to manually trigger the Jenkins jobs at every time you want to run something, so you can schedule it because we are automating the task. Now why to again manually intervene when we want to run those automate scripts? So that's where actually build periodically option is coming a handy feature actually. So if I go to this help, so at every option there is a help. If you click on this question mark, you will be seeing a good documentation from Jenkins. And if you will see here, now there are five options actually you need to enter here, and that is minute, hour, date of month or day of month, month, and then day of week actually, like any specific day, like Monday, Tuesday, whatever you want to do that. Like here it is telling 7 is Sunday actually, 0 is Monday, like that it is calculated. The same thing, month, any of the month, 1 to 12 it is coming, and then hour it is 0 to 23 because we have 24 hours, right? Day of month because we have 31 months, so it is maintained like that. Minute is 0 to 59. Now if you're not understanding what is this all about, if you see here, start specifies any value, all valid values, means all the time, every minute, every hour, every day, every month, every week actually. So if I am entering, let's say that here start star start, so it's five starts because minute, hour, date of day of month, month, day of week. So when I say like this, it means that every minute this task will be triggered actually. Okay, now if you see one of the good example here, it is given, let's say h by 15 and then everything else is star, means every 15 minutes of a specific hour will be executing this particular job automatically. Yes, one thing you need to make sure is that all of your what do you call this the machine where the Jenkins is installed, or where you are launching this one, the Jenkins server, actually that has to be up and running. Okay, so that is one thing you need to make sure, then only your system will be keep on waiting for this cron scheduler. Actually these are called as cron jobs. This particular scheduler formatting whatever we are using is called as a cron generator or cron format actually, CHRON. Okay, now another thing, if you see, this is again another format. If it is saying every first half an hour, the first 10 minutes you need to execute this particular job. So like this several options are there, you can use that. And because we are working internationally or globally, there are like some kind of ambiguity is there which time zone it is fetching. So for this what happens, we have another key actually here. So beginning of this like here what you can do, you can just enter it and you can just say tz equal to, and then you have to specify a specific what do you call time zone actually, and this is specific continent, and then the country or city I guess. So if you see, all available continent and cities are available here, depending on Asia, Africa, America, you can just fetch it the details from here, and then you can maintain here, so that irrespective of wherever your what you call server is there, which time zone, it will always take the priority of this time zone, whichever you are specifying. So this is really a handy feature. You can just do some hit and trial on this particular minute, hour, date, day of month, month and week, and then you can just practice with the Jenkins run actually. Okay, the same thing, another feature that I liked a lot is the poll SCM, and this is basically if you're using Git as a source control tool, you can even use the same scheduler or cron generator formats into this scheduling. Now, what this is helpful, let's say that you want to know how much, how frequently or when exactly your Git changes are coming. If somebody is committing something, then you want to know that. So you are keep on polling that one. So if you say star, all star, 1 2 3 4 5, then when you do this one, then what this will do, okay, it has to be a space, sorry. And now whenever you do this one, now what this job will do, and then you will provide that git path actually here. So every time any of your team member or friends are pushing any of the changes, then this poll SCM will be triggering at every 1 minute, and then it will be tracking. So as it will pull anything, then you can just send an email actually in the post build action. You can just trigger an email actually, so that you will be come to know if anyone in any of the day, if anybody is pushing any changes to your git centralized repository, you all can get the email. I will be showing that as well in our future sessions. So that is this is again one more handy feature. Okay, so this is about the build triggers. Now another feature is that build environment. So delete workspace before build starts. Normally what happens whenever you are dealing with any source code management, and it is Jenkins, what Jenkins is doing, it is getting a copy of your project into Jenkins server actually, Jenkins location. Now let's say that you want to, every time you are running a Jenkins job, you want to clean up that workspace so that you can freshly you can copy that content to run your Jenkins job. So you can select this option, and some other options are available. I'm not going much deeper into that. Based on your availability or your need or your organization need, you can just get to know at that moment. Okay, let's first understand the basics of the Jenkins. Okay, now let's go to the build. Now here exactly you are doing the build triggering and everything. Okay, the actual build whatever you are doing, you can use these scripts here. Now here you will get execute Windows bash command. If you are using any Windows commands to perform your task, you can just click on this one, and you can use something like directories. If you want to know about which directory you are yet, you can just create all those commands, like you are entering the commands into your command prompt, you can just execute those commands here. Okay, the same thing you can even use execute shell script. If you are using any ant build in your project, you can just use this ant invoke ant, and then you can just provide the target. Okay, and then the same thing if you are using any kind of Gradle project, you can use that one. The same thing if you are using any Maven project, you can use that. Let's first understand a basic thing, execute shell command, and here I will just say that pwd, it will give me which location I'm at, and then I want to print another what do you call command, and then here I will say welcome, oops, sorry, welcome to QAV box. I am just writing something so that it will print in the output actually. See, what Jenkins is doing, whatever task you are performing or whatever script you are writing, it will just execute that. To automate that execution, we are using the Jenkins. Okay. Now here, what happens? Now let's say that these two commands I want to execute it. Now let's see what else is there. Post build actions, again the same thing. Let's say that you want to archive any artifacts. Let's say that you are packaging your source code and it is creating an exe file. Now that you can just put it into the archiving that artifacts are nothing but some file systems from that workspace. You can get that and then keep it so that in your builds it will be showing. So as and when you need, you can download those things. If you want to publish any of the HTML report from your code base, you can use this one, and this is basically coming from the HTML publisher plugin actually, which I have shown just before. The same thing, if you are using any, or if you want to show any JUnit test result report, you can use this one. The same thing, if you are using any test ng results, you can just use it. So in the builds you will see all these things. I will show you what is build. The same thing, let's say that if you want to publish Java documentation, you can use it. It will grab the Java documentation from your code base, and then it will be displaying on that builds. Okay, we have some other features like email notification. Let's say that if your Jenkins job is success, failure, or if you want to send a particular status of your Jenkins job to a specific uh, team members, then you can use this email notification, and you have to configure the SMTP server and everything. We will see that even in our upcoming sessions. Okay, now the same thing, you will see one more feature, delete workspace when build is done. We had something delete workspace before starting this one. This is after starting. Let's say that you don't want to keep that workspace or your source code into that Jenkins server. You just want to clean out. Then it will download that source code from the specified location, perform specific task, and then it will delete that. So these are just the features. It's optional. Either you can use or don't use that. Fine. Okay. So now execute shell script. Let's do one thing. Let's save this job, and then here you can see it is displaying, and here some more features are there. Like in Jenkins, whatever you are seeing in the manage Jenkins, these are global actually, not specific to any job. But when I am inside this sample freestyle project, these are my options for this particular project only. Okay, I can see whatever changes are coming, I can see the status, I can even look into the workspace. After running this, I can look into the workspace if you're dealing with any source code. And build now, basically it is to run that particular task. And then configure, if you want to go back to the settings, you can just come back here, and then you can just apply and then save it after doing any changes. If you want to rename anything, you can rename this particular project. Test result analyzer, this is actually coming from a specific plugin. It is again a QA related plugin. We will see in our upcoming session as well. Now let's trigger this one. So triggering means click on this build now. Now you will see a build history is coming here, and then here if I go to this console output, you will see something here, and I think I'm getting some error here. Let's see. I did not put git repository. It's a freestyle project with no source code. Where the git came into the picture. Let's see that. Oh, for demo I was showing this one and I forgot to select none, and then save it, and let's trigger. If everything goes well, it will be passed actually, and you can see it's showing as a green. It means that it is passed, or this job is successfully run. And if you go to the console output, you can see pwd, the command which I have tried to execute in that execute shell script. It is giving me the response. The same thing, echo whatever I printed, I'm getting that. Okay, and then you can see success message. Now the same thing, all of the builds, every time you do a build now, it is coming with a history actually. Okay, and then I was showing about that artifacts, right? Any artifact that is generating, you will be shown here actually, those artifacts. Okay, so that is about a freestyle project with no source code management, any specific, what do you call, any specific commands if you want to run, you can do like this. Okay, there are some more features like you can execute a Selenium script as well, even your development script, you can package it. You have Maven commands, right? So like as I was telling, it is not only limited to the Windows commands and then any kind of shell scripting. You can even use any of the Maven commands, Gradle commands. So any commands you can use it in the Jenkins. And then if it is not available out of the box, you can install those plugins and you will be good to go. So many communities, many team members or many developers are coming forward to help us actually to make this Jenkins as a powerful tool to automate the build triggers. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Very basics about Jenkins job, actually a freestyle project. And in our upcoming sessions, we will see how we can run a Selenium script from your local drive, and also we will see what if it is we are doing in a collaborative environment, let's say 3 to 4 team members are doing, then we don't want to take that code base from the local drive, we want to take it from the GitHub actually. Then we will see how Jenkins can run the Selenium scripts from GitHub from local drive as well. Okay, so stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not. Thank you for watching.